Sapphire scales is a fictional disease of the One Piece universe. This disease has quite an interesting property in it. The two people who we do know this, like they do have this disease, is Ginny and Bonney. Ginny is the mother of Bonney, and Bonney has got this disease from her mother. Now, the disease, which the interesting things I talked about is for a disease, it sounds weird. The thing is, because it's a fictional disease and it has to be associated with the name, jewelry Bonney, that's Bonney's name. So, this disease gives jewelry like sapphire, actual stone like sapphire on the skin of its user. It looks like the skin is turning into the sapphire stone. Bonney did have this condition, and we saw her entire life basically until she got this disease cured. We'll talk about that later. First, let's talk about what this disease actually does. It's called a disease, right? Not a blessing. You don't just look good because of sapphires. It's an actual deadly disease. What happens is, whenever a person who has sapphire scales goes into the sun, any kind of sunlight, they get this disease. It's not something which just works for the sun, it also works for the moon. Like natural light, I guess they just cannot handle it. Whenever they get it, even a littlest bit of, like the tiniest bit of exposure, their skin will start to solidify and they will develop sapphire like stones on their body. Bonnie, the little girl we saw the entire life of, developed a sapphire scale right here. She also had some scales here and there, but they were later removed. So, I'm talking about this disease is deadly. This thing is, this disease is actually incurable as well. This is something which is like, which used to be on the seas way before. Like it was something some years ago. This disease used to roam around the One Piece world seas, but after that, it slowly vanished. We didn't know at that time why this disease vanished. We do know most probably right now. I'll get to that later. First of all, because Bonney and Ginny both got this disease from the holy land of Marijua. Nobody knew back in the lower realm what this disease was because it has vanished for so many years, right? But there was one doctor who knew what this was, and that's how Bonney was told that she does have this disease and she will die at the age of 10. That's how long at least a child can live if they got this disease from birth. So maybe if an adult got this, their life expectancy would be shorter. Like Ginny got this when she was in the holy land of Marijua, and she died around 2 to 3 years. So yeah, so life expectancy of a child, if you think about it, and she is constantly hiding from the sun, it should be around 10 years. Maybe Ginny would have also had it if she was hiding from the sun. Who knows? So this is the around life expectancy if a person does get afflicted with this disease. But I just said, right, that this disease is incurable. So how did Bonney get cured? That's where Vegapunk came in. This disease is incurable for the science right now, but Vegapunk is multiple centuries ahead of the current world in scientific department. So he created like a bone marrow transplant. That's the kind of thing he did, and that's how he cured Bonney. Now, let's talk about where this disease comes from. More than likely, it is something that Saint Saturn himself created. Now, Saint Saturn is one of the elders, one of the 5 elder stars of Marijua, of the world government which rules the One Piece world. This is a disease which Ginny, Bonney's mother, got because Saint Saturn was experimenting on her for some reason. Now, if this disease itself is what Saint Saturn was using to experiment on Ginny, we don't know. Or if he was experimenting on her for something else, but this disease is just like a side effect of that. We are not sure about that, but at least we do know it comes from this guy, Saint Saturn. So there is another curious thing which we can think. This disease was something which was known in the seas back in the days. So maybe Saint Saturn did come down from the Holy Land back when he was young. Or maybe he was still old. Maybe he just has eternal youth. We don't know about these people right now. But anyways, the thing is, maybe Saint Saturn did come down and experimented on many people of the Blue Seas. And that's where the entire reason and entire knowledge about this disease's existence came into being. It's quite a curious thing. Another thing was this disease was associated with Saint Saturn is because this is known as sapphire scales. And sapphire is the stone which is associated with the planet Saturn. So Now, this is something which I think is the case. What I will say is not canon, at least right now. I think this might be something, this sapphire scales might be something which is related to Saint Saturn's devil fruit. He is supposed to be an Ushi Oni. Like, at least that's, we still don't have a confirmation for it, but it is pretty much abundantly clear, and unless he just doesn't have a devil fruit, and this is something natural, but he will still be an Ushi Oni. And Ushi Onis are something which, like a type of creatures in folklore. If you look at them, or if you like around them, you are afflicted with a disease, like your soul is sucked out, something like that. And Saint Saturn could just be afflicting people with sapphire scales. So yeah, in conclusion, this is sapphire scales is coming from Saint Saturn one way or the other. This is a deadly disease which only Vegapunk can cure. This is something which doesn't let you go out into the sun, which is a great parallel to Luffy being the sun god Nika and world government opposing them directly. So yeah, this will be about sapphire scales. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video. This is a new channel. I hope you support me in my endeavor. Thank you.